Hey, welcome back, everybody. It's time once again for Closing the Wealth Gap. The one show, maybe the only show that shows you how to close the wealth gap in your own life with the man who's done it for many, our wealth coach himself, Tyrone French. Hey, Tyrone.
Hey, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Closing the Wealth Gap. I'm your host, Tyrone French. Hey, first thing I'd like for you to do is I want you to take your phone. I want you to go to TyroneFrench.com. That's Tyrone French, TyroneFrench.com. Go to my website, check out some of the resources and the tools that are available for you as far as, so that you can actually plan your financial future. Also, I have a free app. You can text Tyrone French to 36260. That's Tyrone French to 36260. You will have my entire business in the palm of your hand. And again, the resources and the calculators and the videos, they're designed to help you get to a point where your financial literacy will skyrocket. And I put a price on it that I thought everybody would be happy with. It's free. So again, text Tyrone French to 36260 or go to TyroneFrench.com. And without further ado, I'm going to bring in my guest, my esteemed guest. I've been knowing Mr. Tony Hubbard since 2019. He is a class act. But more importantly, the reason I'm bringing him in today is because I believe he has some information that's going to help a lot of people out there to understand exactly what money is, the difference between fake money and real money. And a lot of times people get into the workplace and they spend years getting into the workplace and trying to make this stuff or trying to earn this stuff without exactly knowing what it is. So without further ado, I'm going to bring in my good friend, Mr. Tony Hubbard. Tony, are you there?
I'm here, sir. Can you hear me?
I can hear you well. How are you doing today?
I'm doing excellent, man.
Okay, now you're out in Texas, right?
I'm in the Houston area, suburb of Houston. Yes, sir.
Okay, so what's the weather like out there today?
It's nice. Little warm. We had got a little rain earlier, but it's pretty nice, man.
Okay, good. Now, here's the thing, though. I know you're in, I know your time is limited, and I know you got another appointment after this. So, Tony, just give my audience just a taste, just a little synopsis of your background as far as how you got started understanding finances and capital.
Oh, absolutely, man. Like most people, I did not have I wasn't fortunate enough to get really educated on what real money was as far as finance. And unfortunately, in this country, most of us spend 18 years with the wrong financial advisor that we call parents. And that was my case.
Exactly.
So my parents, they did the best for us.
Yes.
But as far as financial education was concerned, I didn't learn about that in high school and the little college that I took. That was not a financial course that was there, available.
Right.
And so I learned about money. I was blessed that a gentleman approached me back in 2008 and started telling me about what real money was as far as the gold and silver is concerned. And that's when I began to purchase actually Silver Eagles back in 2008. Wow. And that began my journey on to learn the difference between money and actually currency.
Outstanding. Hey, I'll tell you what, I was a part of that same educational process where my family did the best they could with what they had. And my dad modeled that you get up, you go to work hard, and you trade time for money. And I thought that was the ticket. I thought that was the golden parachute, man. And I jumped on that treadmill and I was miserable. And it wasn't until I decided to change my mindset and began to look and tell myself, wait a minute, there's got to be a better way. And I bought this book called The Richest Man in Babylon. And I know you're familiar with this book, but it talked about paying yourself first. Pay yourself first. And again, I don't care how whether you are making 4 figures, 5 figures, 6 figures, 7 figures, 8 figures, the principle pay yourself first always applies and it never gets old. And so in reading that book, I understood that the difference between, like you were saying, money, what money is, what it really is. And before I got that that education, I was clueless as to what money was. Clueless. So what I want you to do now is I want you to give me your definition of what is money. What is it that everybody's they'll steal, kill, and destroy for this thing called money without knowing what it is. So what is your definition of money?
Absolutely. Money is a medium of exchange. Okay, that's what money is. And unfortunately, we live in a country, and not just our country, but all over the world, where people don't know the difference between money and currency.
Right.
Because actually, up until August the 15th, 1971, our currency was actually money because it was backed by gold. But when President Nixon removed the gold standard in 1971, what he essentially did was that he changed what was really money, silver certificates, into what is called currency. A lot of times people think that, when I got $100 bill or whatever the case may be, I have money. And in reality, I have what is called currency. Money is a medium of exchange.
Yes.
And when you look at all the currencies in the world today, whether you're talking the yen, the pound, whatever the case may be, it's all based upon how much silver and how much gold you can actually buy with that currency.
Yes.
Because gold and silver has been real money for the last 5,000 plus years. And one of the things I found to be true since I've been owning real money since 2008 is that one of my mentors taught me in the financial world, what you don't know about money, your ignorance will become somebody else's wealth.
Exactly.
So that's why it's so important for you to learn the difference between the two so you can move in the right direction.
Well, even people in the financial sector, financial institutions, even the Treasury, they don't call it money. They call it currency.
Correct.
But also, there's another word that's thrown out there that a lot of people don't understand, and it's that word fiat. Fiat currency. So, in your opinion, what is fiat currency?
Fiat currency means, actually, that's a French word which means something that is circulated by force.
Yes.
Okay, because basically, a fiat is something that the government that you live in, they've determined this is how we're going to start paying individuals back and forth. And fiat currency is only backed by, basically whatever the government says is worth. And unfortunately with fiat, because especially if it's not backed by anything, it is only money as long as your government tells you that it is, until that dreadful day they tell you that it's not.
Exactly.
And that has happened since the beginning of time. I mean, in the last 100 plus years, we've seen countries when they stopped backing their currency with gold and silver, they all eventually went to zero. And that's since the beginning of time. Every country that stopped backing their currency with gold and silver, they all went to zero 100% of the time.
Exactly.
America just lasted longer than most countries.
Exactly. And that's what a lot of people don't understand, that, we have a fiat currency. Now, one other question, I'm going to throw this in there. What is the value of fiat currency? What is the value?
The value of fiat currency is based upon whatever that government tells you that it is actually worth. I mean, so in reality, it's not much. I mean, because when you look at the $100 bill and the $20 bill, they're made of the same material. It's just the ink on that. It tells you one is worth 100, others worth is 20. So it's, in reality, it's not worth much of anything at all. And just show you what most people don't know is that we've always talked about this being paper money, but for the last 10 plus years, this is not made out of paper. It's 75% cotton, 25% linen.
That's right. That's right. And basically, it basically costs 3 cents to produce it. It costs more money to produce it than what it's actually worth.
Correct.
Yeah.
That's correct.
So that's a perfect segue as far as getting, because now that we understand the difference, what money is and what it's not, that the United States operate based on currency and the money supply, and it circulates through the money supply. That's the perfect segue to talk about inflation. Because a lot of people hear that word inflation, but they don't understand what it is, and they don't understand what causes inflation. And so when you have more money circulating, more fiat currency circulating in the economy, they'll talk about the Fed printing money, and it causes inflation. But what they also failed to recognize is that credit contributes to the money supply based on inflation. So can you talk about that just a little bit as far as how inflation actually occurs in the economy and the cause and effect relationship based on what that does to your savings? Because a lot of people, they want to save more money without understanding how inflation is actually eroding their purchasing power over time.
Absolutely. And inflation, simply put, is really like a silent tax.
Yes.
And if you don't factor that in and stuff, that's why, you know, one of my mentors when it comes to finance was Robert Kiyosaki,
Yes.
and you hear him say a lot that savers are losers.
Right.
And what it means by that is that if you're only saving in fiat currency, you're losing every single month because inflation is actually eating up the value of what you can the purchasing power of it goes away. I mean, let's just say the last 5 years, and this is something we do a presentation on a regular basis. On the last 5 years, if you had $1,000 in cash in a bank, didn't do anything to it, also $1,000 worth of silver and $1,000 worth of gold, and you didn't do anything to either one of those three over the last 5 years, because inflation is eating up 24% of that cash. Now that cash, although it says $1,000, it can only purchase $760 worth of stuff.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, because of inflation. But by the same token, silver's went up over. It's grown from $1,000 to worth over $2,000 during that same time frame without you touching it. And same thing with gold to 1,900 during that same time. And so that's why inflation eats up fiat currency. But one of the reasons why the wealthy of the wealthy put part of their wealth into tangible assets of gold and silver is because, number one, it keeps up with inflation.
Yes.
Back in the early 1900s, a 1 ounce gold was called a $20 gold piece.
Yes.
And back then, that $20 gold piece could buy you a Colt 45, which was a good weapon back then. Also, a tailored suit you could buy with that same $20 gold piece. But you and I both know $20 today of cash is not going to buy you a nice firearm or a custom-made suit.
Right.
But that same $20 gold piece today is worth about $3,600.
Right.
And so it still has the same amount of purchasing power. It actually has more purchasing power than it was a little over 100 years ago because it's not infected by inflation.
I'm glad you mentioned that purchasing power, because that's a key that a lot of people don't understand when you're talking about saving money. As a financial advisor, we're taught to tell people, hey, look, just based on an emergency plan or emergency fund, you need to have 3 to 6 months of a reserve for an emergency, just in case you lose your job or your engine explodes on your car or whatever. Whereas today, the average person don't even have $400 in a reserve. But we're teaching people that have means, that don't understand sound money, to take their fiat currency and save this money, at least anywhere between 3 to 6 months, without telling them that inflation is actually eroding the money that you're trying to save, and it's literally detrimental to your long-term purchasing power. But again, people are taught in the financial industry to do these things without understanding the difference between sound money and currency. And to me, it's a shame, because once you understand and you educate yourself, now you go back to the financial advisor and say, well, wait a minute, you told me to do this. But after I realized what money is, I realized what you told me was incorrect. And so people don't have those conversations. All they do is they go by what they're being taught, what they're being told to do, and they fall into these societal norms, thinking that they're doing the right thing when they're really not.
Correct. Absolutely.
So, based on sound money, I had an advisor. We're going to wrap this up in a few minutes, but I had an advisor come back and tell me that one of the reasons why he didn't really want to invest in precious metals, gold and silver, he understood the intrinsic value of doing so, but what he was looking for was cash flow. He was saying that gold and silver, even though it's great to hold on to and it maintains its purchasing power, it's a hedge against inflation, but it doesn't have that cash flow component. And based on my audience, based on where they are, I want you to explain how you can actually overcome that problem, because I know you've done it personally, but I just want you to share it with my audiences based on how do you overcome that discrepancy that people have, or a false illusion or disillusion that sound money doesn't generate cash flow.
Absolutely. Like I said, I've been blessed. I've been fortunate enough in the last 9 years to be a part of a company that allows me, with the gold and silver, to not only collect assets that historically have went up in value, but also to generate cash flow by just sharing the opportunity as well. And one of the reasons why that's so important, one of my mentors in the financial world is the great, Warren Buffett. And he has a famous quote that said, "Whatever you like to do, that should be a hobby of yours."
Yes.
And when you find out what wealthy people like to do, that should be a business of yours. And if you look at the portfolio of the wealthiest people on the planet, they will always have a certain percentage of that wealth in hard, tangible assets.
Exactly.
And the two most common ones by far is real estate and precious metals.
Yes.
Now, we know everybody doesn't get involved in real estate, but I'm a part of a company, you're a part of a company that allows everyday people to be able to buy gold and silver based upon what they can afford.
Yes.
And I love the fact that I get a chance to show people how to protect their wealth and grow their wealth with gold and silver the same way every king and queen has done since the beginning of time. Yeah, every king and queen since the beginning of time have grown and protected their wealth with gold and silver.
Yes.
And now I'm a part of an opportunity where you not only get a chance to collect the assets, but also if you want to generate cash flow by just sharing the opportunity, you can do that part of it as well.
And also, it's like people talk about dividends, and let's say if you have a dividend, you invest in a stock, and that stock is paying you $1,500 a quarter in dividends. Do you know how much capital you have to invest to get $1,500 quarterly dividend? And that's another thing I like about 7K Metals, is because not only do you have this cash flow, and not only are you accumulating real money, something tangible, something that's a hedge against inflation, but it's also creating a cash flow that you don't have to spend hundreds and thousands of dollars to do this. And also, I tell anybody, you need to start a business. One of the ways that you get ahead of the game, one of the fastest ways to create wealth is to start your own business. So for me, 7K Metals checked off all of those boxes. Now, Tony, we only got a couple more minutes left. I love this conversation. I'm going to have you back on. But if somebody wanted to reach out to you, how could they do it?
They can reach out to me by my phone number. I'm in the Houston, Texas area. My number is 281-850-5435. Again, 281-850-5435. Or you can reach me via email. And that email is in my name, Tony Hubbard, Hubbard, the number 4, th@gmail.com. So Tony Hubbard 4th @gmail.com.
Okay. And also, if you have a problem with that, just contact TyroneFrench.com, www.TyroneFrench.com, or call us, reach out to us. Call Tyrone French at 877-296-5192, 877-296-5192. Or, again, best way to contact me, download my app, text Tyrone French to 36260, text Tyrone French to 36260. Mr. Hubbard, it's been a joy having you on the program today, sir. And like I said, we're going to help you, have you come back. And for everybody that's listening today, I just want you to know that Tyrone French is closing the wealth gap.
That's our show for this week. Closing the Wealth Gap. The one show, the only show that shows you how to take control of your financial future. Right here in Orange County's only community radio station, OCTalkRadio.net.